Hello, entertainers! Welcome! It's Script Analysis Tuesday. I'm glad you're here with me. Today, we're going live. It's potluck, which means you get to ask me whatever you want to ask me about the craft or the business. And I am Sandra K. Horner. I'm an acting coach here in Los Angeles, and I also work with writers. I've been teaching for 28 years. I've been in the entertainment business for 38 years. And I've been in the Los Angeles market now for 20 years. So I've been an agent. I produce, I direct, I write now. I have content at several studios and a couple networks. And hopefully we'll get back to work soon. I'd like to dedicate this class to Jack Turnbull, who we just lost in Talent Managers for Actors. Great loss. So I hope you guys are all being safe and wearing your masks when you're supposed to and keeping your distance until we have a vaccine. So Godspeed, Jack. We're going to miss you. Okay, with that said, let's jump into it. I see some of you guys coming in. Hi, everybody. I don't know if you're saying anything. Here you are. I have to just do a little swipe. Hi, Matthijs. Always good to see you, sweetheart, from the Netherlands. One of my alum. Sophia is in the house again. Yay! I love it when you guys keep coming back. Michael and Mark. Hey, so welcome everybody. Rocky's in the house. Thank you, Vanessa. Good, everybody's coming. Jennifer, hi. Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining. So, have you guys done your homework? Did you do your homework? I hope so. That you got some questions for me. So I teach a script analysis for some of you guys that are new. You're from Earth. Hey, Jennifer, nice to meet you, Earthling. I teach a script analysis based in Robert Lewis's technique. So probably after this class, next class, I'm going to send you guys a script. And we're going to go back into breaking down scripts. So I like to break it up a little bit. We do some script analysis. We come and do some kind of free-for-all, or I teach you something different, and we just keep moving that way with the class. So now if you want the script that we're going to be breaking down next week, which is what I think I like to do. I think that's kind of fun, isn't it, guys? Do you like that? Give me some thumbs up if you want to break down a script next week. Sides. Want to break down some sides next week? Mark's saying yeah. Mark's loving it. Anybody else loving that? All right. So that's probably what we'll do next week. But if you want the handy-dandy handouts or the scripts, right now they're free, and all you have to do is email me. And my email address is sandra@skhperformancestudio.com. That's sandra@skhperformancestudio.com. And then I'll send you the scripts. If you guys are already on my email list, you know the scripts will be coming to you unless I have some kind of difficulty with your email address. If I have difficulty with your email address, I'm going to cut and paste your email and send it through my AOL account instead of my Gmail account. So hopefully you're getting the handouts. If you're not, email me so I'll see what the trouble is if you're not getting handouts or you're not getting up to date with the class stuff that we're doing. You guys can follow me on Facebook, Sandra K. Horner. I'm on Instagram, same thing. And we have the Performance Studio International Facebook page too. So Emma does that and gives really great tips and a lot of stuff from professionals, encouraging advice. And I try to do that on my page too. So I'd love to have you follow me. And then you can keep up with what's on the studio too. If you're on my email address, you keep up with what's going on in the studio as well. So, Carla. Hey, Carla's back. Yay. Ravon. Hello, my friend. Yeah, you guys think it's going to be cool for me to send you some scripts? Okay. I'm going to pick out something. I have a bunch of sides, so we'll find something fun. I'll find something fun to send you guys. Michael's in Atlanta, Georgia, Earth. I love it. Hey, Dan's back. Hi, Dan. John's back. Hi, John. Emma. Hi, Emma. And you're here with your roommate. That's awesome. It's good to meet her, even if we have to do it this way. XU, I'm not sure I'm saying that, Riviera. Thanks for coming. Jean, Patrick, you guys, Corey, Marietta? Yeah, Marietta. That's a pretty name. All right, kids. I think I'm up to date with you. Maji from London. I'm probably saying that wrong, baby. Please correct me. Give me phonetics when I say your name wrong. What are you waiting for, Michael? I am waiting for my advice. Mark, what are you saying? to the Players book. Are you still waiting for your Advice to the Players book? That's right. Mark got Robert Lewis's book, Advice to the Players. He has several books, Bobby, and the book that has his script analysis in is Advice to the Players. And it's an incredible book. It's all the script analysis, and you can dive into that and come work with me, and I'll teach you Robert Lewis's script analysis, and I'll teach you a really quick way to break a script down like sides really fast. And also when you have the full script in your cast, I'll teach you how to break down a full script in my 12-week class, which is starting June 25th. It's Thursday, 4:30 p.m. my time here in Los Angeles. So I only take 6 actors on. I'd love to have you a part of it. It's starting to fill up. So if you guys want to jump in that class, just email me and we'll set you up and get you ready to go. Kira's here. Hi, Kira. Thanks for coming. Jay, I know there's someone watching and I don't. If you can write that in English, I'd love to hear your name in English or see your name in English. Jay's here. Jean's here. Franklin's here. Carol's here. Damaris is here. All right. It's a pseudonym. Oh, okay, it's a pseudonym. Well, I still don't know how to say it. Greetings. I'm not sure what that flag is either. How do you say your name in English, I wonder? Mark, I might move to London to work and study so I can take classes after I move and earn more money. I love it, Mark. London's great. Jean's here. What's the email again, Jean? It's Sandra at skhperformancestudio.com. That's Sandra at skhperformancestudio.com. So why don't we, because I'm not, who's ready to jump in this and's got some questions for me? Anybody got questions yet, or you want me to throw out some subjects? Moojie Woogie. Moojie Woogie. That is pretty good synonym name. That's funny. I like it. Okay, awesome. Now, has anybody thought of some questions you want to ask me, or do you want me to kind of start it off by talking about something and that brings questions? I think some of you guys have been thinking for a week. You might have some questions for me. A Zeke, a Rick, maybe. Thanks for watching. No, I'm not seeing anybody type in a bunch of questions. Are you guys just being timid? Are you being timid? Timid actors? Nah, can't be. You guys can't be being timid. That can't be right with your questions. And maybe you're typing them in and I'm not seeing them just yet. But I thought, well, I had you here for just a quick second. Yes, start. Okay, Damaris, I'll just start. While I have you guys here for just a minute, I thought what I might do is something I've been promising to do, which is talk about the method tree. And I was kind of trying to find a better drawing of it than what, oh, here, this is a little bit darker. I don't know if you guys can see this. I know you do, Mark. I can't wait for us to be able to work together one-on-one. That'll be great. So let's look at this method tree, guys. See, I am not a fine artist. I am a performing artist. As you can see, my tree is pretty elementary looking, okay? So here we have the trunk of the tree, and then we have 6 branches of our tree, which I know is not really great because of the way I've got it all folded up here. So you can't see everybody. But there are 6 branches to my tree. So at the root of our tree is Stanislavski. That can be spelled with the ending of a Y or an I. Stanislavski. Who knows where Stanislavski was, where did he work? What theater was he involved with? Who knows that about Stanislavski? Anybody? Maybe you guys are saying something. I hear crickets out there. Okay, Stanislavski, you probably know, but some of y'all being shy. Oh, hi, Mac. Thanks for coming, baby. So nice to see you guys coming in from Europe. What was I just talking about? Stanislavski. So Stanislavski was from the Moscow Theater. He was the founder of the Moscow Theater. Okay? And there was another member that founded it. I forget his name. But Anton Chekhov was a resident playwright of the Moscow Theater. So Stanislavski, around the 1800s, 1900s, they founded the Moscow Theater. And what happened in the early 1900s, well, let me just back up. Stanislavski was really responsible for writing down what we do to get into character, how we change our emotional state. Actors were doing it. He just wrote it down for us. And he didn't want it to get fixed. He didn't want his technique to be the Bible, because he wanted acting to evolve as an art form, which it should and it has. So when the Moscow Theater toured New York, people were blown away by these Russian actors because they weren't pretending to be angry, happy, sad. They really were angry, happy, sad. So that's where all the realistic, very truthful acting that we see today goes back to the Moscow Theater and Stanislavski and the books, a couple books that he wrote. And there's been many books written on his technique, and then we have people that spawn off from it, that come off from Stanislavski. And so that's what we're talking about here on this tree. Okay? My fancy method tree. I'll keep hoping that somebody who's good at fine art will actually make me one that really looks good and I can impress you guys. But until that time, okay. So let's talk about some of the core people that really started with Stanislavski. So the group theater was founded in the late 20s, early 30s. So the founding members of that theater was Lee Strasberg, Stella Adler. No, I'm sorry. Lee Strasberg, Cheryl Crawford, and Harold Klugman. Those were the founding members of the group theater. Stella Adler, Sandy Meisner, Robert Lewis, Clifford Odets was the resident playwright. So and there's more actors that were in the ensemble of the group theater. So they were really responsible for bringing Stanislavski's method to the United States. There's a book called The Group Theater. You can research the group theater and find out more about them. That Harold Klugman in the beginning, in a little studio apartment in New York, would stand up on a table, and they'd pack a bunch of actors in this little apartment, and he would stand on a table and almost evangelistically speak to people, that to the actors, we have got to change the face of acting to what these Russians are doing. We've got to do this truthful acting. And if you begin to watch movies, as we get into talkies, we're still kind of big. We start getting into the 40s, right? In the 50s, it starts getting more believable, doesn't it? Right? So here I have at the top Lee Strasberg, Stella Adler, Sanford Meisner, Robert Lewis. Okay, so again, there were more people in the group theater than those people, but those people really came out and became our master teachers. And I take from all these guys. I also have Michael Chekhov. Michael Chekhov was Anton Chekhov's nephew. And if you guys find somebody who really knows Chekhov and study it, because he deals with energy work. He was really ahead of his time. I deal with energy work in my class as well, but he was really ahead of his time in what he was writing and what he was doing. He was blowing the guys in the group theater away. His book is called To the Actor by Michael Chekhov, and it's really an interesting read. I think it's a really good read once you get a really good firm foundation in the craft a bit, because it's a little bit out there a little bit. But I take things from him, and I'll let you know. And Uta Hagen. Uta Hagen has a couple books, brilliant woman. She and her husband taught in HB Studios in New York for a really long time. I had good friends that were studying with her. She wasn't in group theater, but she did a lot of Broadway. She's a fantastic actor. And all these people have books. If you can't get right directly to their conservatories to work with them, read, because you can pick up a lot about what's going on there. So in the 1950s, Robert Lewis founded the Actor Studio. I know you guys think Lee Strasberg did, but it wasn't. It was Robert Lewis and Lee and Stella and Meisner, how I understand it, all taught there in the 50s. Then they broke off, okay? And then when they broke off, they started teaching kind of their own thing in their own studios, right? Bobby went to Yale, and he became the head of the Yale drama department for years. So he taught Marlon Brando, Meryl Streep. So the technique that I teach, Meryl Streep uses that technique, Robert Lewis's technique. So that's pretty cool to think about, right? So why you don't hear a lot about Robert Lewis is that he wouldn't let anybody else teach his technique. So if you wanted to take his class, you had to interview, and he would interview over 500 actors and only take 20 on. So it was just an honor to be in the man's class. When I worked with him in 1990 in New York City, and he was probably about 80, but sharp as a tack. And just I learned and hung on to every word that came out of the man's mouth and just felt honored to be there in his class. So then you begin to see that we've got the Neighborhood Playhouse on both coasts, right? We got Stella Adler on both coasts here in the States. So that's where we here in the United States get our training and where it all comes from. So when you have a coach, ask them, what are you based in? because then you understand what their training is. They may say, I'm based in sensory perception, a lot of sensory work. That's Lee Strasberg. Lee Strasberg does a lot of sense memory, drove everybody crazy with emotional recall. Come work with me, I'll tell you the gossip. Robert Lewis would talk about it, he would talk about him and gossip a little bit. And I guess it has a whole book on the Slings and Arrows, which is the whole gossip of the group theater, which I have and I still have not read, but I still have it here. I got to read it. But a beautiful man and a beautiful time I had learning with him. So that's kind of our background, guys, that I wanted to kind of brief as kind of an overview of it. Certainly there's other teachers besides these 6 that I take from. And then, and I just like for you guys to be a little bit more informed, because we hear these names all the time and we don't know where they come from. So all this stuff that I've just spouted out, if it's of interest to you, go Google it, read it. Read about the group theater. Read about Stanislavski. Read about the Moscow Theater. Read about it. Right? I find actors very lazy with reading, and I don't understand it because we have to read for a living. We read scripts for a living. You know what I mean? So you really need to get where you can read and not be afraid, not just to enjoy reading, especially plays, while you can, while it's free, email me. I have a playwright list, comedic and drama list. You can ask me for it and I'll give it to you for free right now. So, so in this downtime, you guys, while we have this quarantine and with some of us, we aren't as busy, we aren't out with our friends, we aren't doing something, you can get so much better at the craft. Devote that time. You'd be out partying, right? A lot of you guys are in your 20s and 30s where you're like wanting to get out there and party and meet people and all that kind of stuff. So I know this lockdown's really hard for a lot of you guys. I know some of the states are open up a little bit quicker than we are here in California too. But please be safe. Okay. Let me see. Maybe you guys got some questions while I was yammering about our history of method, our method acting history, right? Emma, thanks for putting my email address on there, guys. So Emma just put it, Sandra@skhperformancestudio.com. Oh, Mac, you knew. Moscow. I love it. Hi, Lizette. Thanks for coming in again. I love you. Teresa's in the house. Kira got it. Moscow, too. Right. Russian Theater. Damaris got it. Awesome, you guys. Theater of Yerevan. I don't know that theater. You might know something there, Kira, that I don't, which doesn't surprise me. I certainly don't know it all. Let me see where I went back to it. Okay, good. Now, I think I know where I'm at. Janine is in the house. I love it. Hey, Joel, you're back. Hey, Joel, thanks for coming. I was talking about you last week on your, major beat change. Let me talk about that. You guys that were with me last week when we were talking about the moment after, and it felt like time got away and I had to just go, and I didn't get to tell you what I want to tell you about that. Now, moment after, because we always talk about the moment before, propelling us into how I'm going to say, good news, Dr. Farley. I'm cured, la, 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 right? Because we were dealing with that time problem. And so that fear feels the whole thing, but we have to make strong entrances and strong exits. So we don't want to make a weak exit either. So that's where I want to know where I'm going. So a lot of you guys were saying he's going to the car and cry. Okay, or he falls and he trips. Okay, what else? But where is he going? Because we know if I'm leaving the house, I know where I'm going. I'm not just going to go fall and trip, right? I'm going to the store, or I'm going to a ball game, or I'm going, you know what I mean? So you have to finish the whole thing out of where he's going, like the place that he's going. Some of you said, I think Joel, that's what I was talking about, where you said that he's going, I think it was he's driving to go to the card shop to buy a thank you card for the person who gave him the socks. I think you said he got socks for his birthday. So it makes me leave with a purpose. It makes me leave with power when I know what my moment, I know where I'm going after this. Again, Stella Adler says we should know where we've been and we should know where we're going. So I just wanted to kind of underline that is why we were doing the moment before, is so that we have a strong exit. There you go. All right, let's see what else you guys are saying. Matthias, what are you saying? What is the best play that an actor could read? Except Who's Afraid of Virginia? The things I gave you in class, right? The Odd Couple, Cat on Hot Train. I have your playwright list. I would just like to know the best play. Where are you, sweetie? The best play that I can read except those 3 plays that I read in your class. I think, why don't you just see what playwright jumps out at you? All of those, well, The Odd Couple was a comedy, that the other two were dramas. You might want to go and dig into a comedy, Matthias. I'm thinking Eric Bogosian is really good, you guys. Eric Bogosian is a playwright. He also wrote on like Law and Order or something. I mean, he's a writer as well as an actor, and he writes these one-person plays. Great resource for comedic monologues, because comedic monologues are the hardest to find. So I would say do some comedy, read some comedy. If you guys know a lot of plays, Christopher Durang is really funny, because Christopher Durang will spoof plays. He'll spoof Sam Shepard or Tennessee Williams or things like that. That's really fun too. But whatever name jumps out at you, sweetheart, everybody's good on that list. So if a name really pops, read it and see what you think. And if there's great playwrights there where you guys are, like in the Netherlands, you and Mac, read your local playwrights. Know what's going on there too. Like playwrights that are known in your area. You should know them just as well as American writers, for sure, because you're going to be doing plays. And you'll know it. See, when you go and do a stage audition, you really need to have read the play before you go in there and audition. If there's at all, you can get your hands on it. Sometimes you're doing original work and you can't, but you could. That way, get on the good side of a director. If they called you in for an audition, a week in advance, and you email them back and say, "Is there any way I can get a hold of the whole script? I'd like to be really prepared for this audition, so I want to know the whole story." Just think if the writer was in on that audition. And you can start talking about that writer's work in a professional, intellectual, hardworking way. Right? Because we're trying to beat out 10%, 90% of our competition. And the way that we do that is through the work. We do the work. Okay, kids? I'm always saying do the work. I know. It's never ending, is it? Okay, Mark, what do you got here? I have some days where I just can't do sense memory exercises and can't imagine who I am talking to, and some days where I have no problem doing that. What is this mood and how can I deal with it? Okay. So that's why we study and train, because our technique is what we fall back on. Because we're not always going to be in a good mood. There's going to be times people die. There's going to be times that things happen to us that maybe puts us in a bad mood. Or puts us in a good mood, and we have to go play depressed. So what you have to be able to do, so part of that is concentration, Mark. You need to strengthen your concentration. So why don't you go to my website and start meditating for free. I got a free meditation, guys, on my website, www.sandrainitialkhorner.com will get you there. sandrainitialkhorner.com will get you there. And do that meditation, you guys. Meditate. Because it strengthens your concentration, because the meditation that I teach is to try to eliminate all thought, which is so hard to do. If you can do it for 1 to 2 seconds, that's really, really, really good. But it forces you to really come into the moment, which is what we have to be as actors, is totally be in the moment. There's no past, there's no future, which is what we should be practicing in our everyday lives, because all there is right now, me with you guys right now. That's all that's existing in our own worlds right now, from a philosophical kind of viewpoint. So if you come work with me, Mark, I'm going to teach you emotional recall work, and I'm going to teach you how to change your emotional state for what's needed for the scene, and you might have already been working on that. And you may have anxiety issues where you have to practice breathing, right? So we do a slow inhale, hold it, slow exhale. Do it with me, guys. One more time. Inhale. Hold it. Slow exhale. One more time. In through the nose. Slow exhale. If you guys are doing that with me right now, you're already feeling calmer, aren't you? Yeah. So some of it can deal with anxiety, so that you can't maintain your focus on what you're trying to imagine to change your emotional state, or to pretend there's someone in front of you. Sometimes I think we try to imagine too hard sometimes. I'm not going to be able to completely imagine someone's face verbatim. I can imagine some of it. Even people that I know, I can't completely see their face. I don't have that type of memory. Some people might. I don't. I sense, if I have to put somebody off camera to do a monologue to them, I sense who they are. I don't have to literally see this figure. I sense that they're there, Mark. So maybe you're being too hard on yourself. Maybe you're being a little bit too hard on yourself. I'm not sure. Okay, kids. Well, Flay, what else is going on? Backed up. Gift has a question. What to do if you have no credits for a reel? What can you make so you can get agents? Wendy in Talent Managers for Actors, she is saying you guys can do a monologue. You can tape a monologue for right now until you get material on a reel and put that up there. But don't do anything longer than a minute. Do not do a monologue longer than a minute. When I teach monologue classes, I'll cut them down to 50 seconds because I put another 10 seconds directing you and blocking you on it. You lose people at about 45 seconds. Now you start to kind of lose them because we have shorter attention spans. And even if they say they want 2 minutes, they're happy when you shut up. I've done casting, and I've done monologue kind of casting. So at a minute is great, and we can tell, people in casting can tell if you can act out of the first like 5 or 6 lines, 5 or 6 words out of your mouth. So the rest of it is, I want you to be entertaining me if I'm listening to you. I want you to be so good you're drawing me into that monologue. Okay. So that's how you can get started so that you can start getting an agent. Yeah, as long as you got your headshot and resume ready to go, right? You got to get some kind of resume. You have to put some kind of resume together. Gift, you should come work with me. I help you guys with your resumes too. We do a half of a class on just getting your resumes together, and then once you get the class under, you can send me your resume in class. I'll take a look at it and then help you with it. Because everybody's got to start somewhere. Everybody starts somewhere. My first resume in New York. Thankfully my coach at the time helped me to do it, but it's you can still put something, you can still get stuff you can put on your resume whether you think you do or not. Even special skills, special skills can be put on there. Bolewski, what are you saying, Mark? Is that the other guy who founded the group theater, or this guy, Jay? Vladimir Dachinko, maybe. Maybe that's the other guy. Ah, all right, Jay. Oh, say you're probably right on that. Was an actress who named, I forgot, remains in the U.S. and founded the actor studio. Maybe. I don't know the whole thing on that actor studio. I really thought all of them came together. I should probably read a little bit more on that too, Mark. Hey, Daphne. Hey, Marissa. Hey, Dean. Hey. One of my masterclass students tuning in. I just worked on him. He's just funny. We're doing funny monologues in the masterclass right now. Pretending, we're doing 2 different things we're doing in the masterclass. We're working on, a comedic monologue, like two different ways for sure. We're working at really pulling it down for camera, and then we're working for stage. So working with that energy of how big we have to be for a stage and how small we have to be for camera. And it's a comedic monologue, and it's really farcical. So it's kind of challenging to pull it down for camera, but Dean did a great job today with it. He did really good work with it. And then we're going to start with NCIS scripts. And you know what, Mark? We might even do the Ruby and Orlando script in the master class. Wouldn't that be fun? Hey, Reggie's in the house. You're awesome. He did the laboratory theater. Okay, what the hell am I talking about? Okay. All right, that's a different person. Okay, good, because I wasn't sure. Kira, what do you got? Then it developed and took in different directions elsewhere. I bought a chunk of, yeah. And I take it in a different direction too. All right, awesome. Thanks again, Mark, for putting my email address up. Andy. Yay, an actor who loves to read. That's what I want to hear. Thanks for coming, Andy. Come back. Hi, Lizette. Emma's roommate wants to know how to get an agent. Come work with me. So how can I do that in kind of a short thing? Well, first of all, you got to research for agents, guys. All right, so you're going to hear of agents that you really like in town, wherever you are, whatever market you're in, wherever you're at. You're going to hear about an agent. Then you go into IMDb and you look at, see if they have anybody that looks like you. If they got anybody that looks like you, especially more than one person, move on. Move on to another agent, because then you'll be in direct competition in that agency, and you don't want that. You want to look, if you're just starting out, you want to look for a smaller agency. You're not going to go to CAA or William Morris Endeavor. Even if they took you on, you'll get lost in an agency that big. So you want to go for like the tier underneath that, or lesser tiers. And you work to get towards those agencies, and maybe you'll stay loyal to your smaller agency and never go to a bigger agency. So it just depends on your relationship with your agent. So research. Do all the research that you need to do with all the different, I think Backstage has a list of agents. Maybe you can just even, you probably could go. One way to find agents in your market too, guys, is go to, and this is in the States, guys, go to SAG-AFTRA and their website, and you can, I don't know exactly how to do it, but it will take you, if you just put Los Angeles agents that are SAG franchise. You want SAG franchise agents because they have to jump through hoops to become SAG franchise, and they got to pay. And they've got to be, well, they got to be pretty legit. They got to be legit. They got to sign contracts with SAG. It's a big deal. So you want a SAG franchise agent. But in your, whatever market you are in the States, you can say Georgia, Atlanta, Dallas, whatever, and you'll see your SAG franchise agents will pop up. That's your starting point from. And then take that, go to IMDb. And then there you'll see email addresses. You can actually click on the agents, see all the different agents. You can see what clients some of these agents rep and who they're repping. So that if you want to reach out directly, if it's a smaller agency, there may only be 2 agents in there working their butts off. So remember that an agent works for you for free until you book something. What'd I say? I didn't think that when I was acting all the time. I was mad at my agent because they weren't giving me enough work. Okay, they're part of your team. Remember, they get 10% of your money. You got to be doing the other 90%. And they're part of your team. And when we talk about that in my class, because I have a marketing end and do's and don'ts of auditioning end of my classes that I teach. So it's not just script analysis. I want you guys out there working, making money, right? Because that's what we want. I don't know if that answered your roommate, Emma, but tell her to come work with me. I'd love to work with her. Hey, Robin, how are you, sweetie? If I'm thinking who you are, I haven't seen you in a long time, girl. I'm happy you're here. Janine. Am I saying that right? It feels like there should be an extra syllable. Ms. Oliver, thanks for coming. Sophia, what do you have, darling? If I could only bring 5 books about acting, on my vacation, what should they be? Robert Lewis's Advice to the Player. I would actually bring, then Michael Chekhov, because you've got enough acting under your belt, Sophia. Michael Chekhov's To the Actor Creates. Any of these guys, Lee Strasberg, Stella Adler, Sanford Meisner. Sanford Meisner's book's really good, especially if you're taking his class. Can be a little difficult, I think, to understand if you're not studying the technique. But look at it. It doesn't hurt you to read the book, right? So all these guys have books that I just went over. So all of those guys, read all those guys. You have Michael Shurtleff's book, The Audition. You guys should have that in your library. It's an old book, but it's a great book. And I think I might talk about that from time to time. He has Barbara Streisand's first Broadway audition and what she did. You should just get the book just for that, just to read that, which is really great. I really enjoyed Uta Hagen's books when I was reading them and pulling everything I teach together. I really enjoyed her books, and they really made me think. Stanislavski's books are great. I have to, sometimes they're really, I don't know if it's a translation or how smart he was, but sometimes I might have to read a couple of paragraphs. Read a paragraph again a couple of times, what I mean, just to completely get down what he's saying. And building a character, and what's the other guy's, Actor Creates, I think maybe, I know. Building the character, I have it. What's the other Stanislavski's book, guys? There's two that he has out. So yeah, you're so funny. If I'm on vacation, what books would I have? That's a great question. Okay, Gabe, what do you got? Where can I get feedback for my self-tapes right now? You can hire me. I'm having a special on private sessions through the quarantine, guys. They're generally $160, and I'm $80 an hour right now. So you can come work with me, and I'll help you with whatever you need privately too. not just with classes. Vanessa, what are you saying? Which book with monologues or scenes for a show reel can you recommend? Okay, so a big thing, guys, with those monologue books that are just monologues, you have to do so much more character background work. You have to do so much more imaginative work because they're not taken from a play, or they're not taken from a screenplay or a script. Now, a lot of times why we go to stage plays is because stage plays are, the story is told with words. Film, it's words and pictures. So sometimes it's, and television sometimes too, so sometimes it's harder to get a monologue from a film or television where somebody has a really minute where they're just talking nonstop. On camera is not always the case unless it's David E. Kelly or Aaron Sorkin. They like to preach a little bit. You can find monologues there. So the thing, and a lot of times the writing's not that great on those, just somebody who just wrote a monologue, and it's not always the best either. So you really want to try to pull scenes from, or monologues from something people haven't seen would be good. You never want to do a scene from, that somebody else did who's like Meryl Streep, for example, because they'll always be comparing you to that. And that's very unfair, even if you're as good as Meryl Streep. It's unfair to do that to you. So that's a lot of times you don't want to pull a scene from something that's really known. But you could do an obscure movie that somebody didn't really know, or it's been a long time ago since anybody's seen it. But be careful on which ones you choose. Again, keeping the monologues short and to the point. So again, if they ask you for 2 minutes or something, you could do pieces. If you did one that's a minute and the other one's a minute, you see, and then you can show more of your work. That's what a monologue is, an example of your work. And that's what the show reel, the actor's reels is an example of our work that they get to see before we come in. They get to hear us, they get to talk to us. Now, a lot of you guys got these show reels that go on for days, and you don't have to have that. I mean, it'd be great eventually for you to have a comedic reel and a dramatic reel, but you don't have to have that. You can have a reel all together. You can have your comedic reel and your dramatic reel. But I always suggest actors to do 20 seconds. Sometimes I was just checking out a little gal's reel today, and it was a little bit too quick. Her scenes were a little bit too quick. I wanted to, and maybe she's just done little short things. So it's kind of better to, so she had like a lot of little short ones on there versus picking out maybe your 3 or 4 strongest. You know, and I don't mind quick edits in a reel. I think you can do like a 20-second thing and do a little 5-second thing and then go back and finish it up with a, you know, something that's 30, 35 seconds to show your work. So it can be kind of fun if you got something dramatic and then you inject a little comedy and then you go back to something else with it. But read. Your monologues and the scenes that you pick should just be, again, something you can act in your sleep. Something just easy. It's like putting on a shoe that feels so good. When you read it, you just connect to it immediately and know you can do it. That's what you want to put on your reels. That's what people want to see. Okay? When you challenge yourself, you come to class to challenge and stretch yourself. I think I've said this before. Or you go, or a director will hire you because they know that you're talented and you can stretch in this direction. But when you're trying to showcase your talent, do what you do best. Whatever it is that you do best. And let there be an ease with it. Okay? I hope that answered your question, Vanessa. Why are we beating out 90% of our competition instead of 99% of our competition? Right on, Kira. Let's beat out 99% of our competition. Yeah. I always think that there's 10% of actors that do the work, that actually do the work that's needed to get cast. I think a lot of actors also, not only doing the work that we need to do as artisans, but business people. I think actors forget that. And you can't work if you're not part of the business because it's show business, right? And so if we don't understand how to do that business end. So I do think there's 10% of our competition, or 10% of actors, who are really going after it. I had a student that worked at Central Casting. You guys know what Central Casting is? You've probably heard of it. A lot of actors, as soon as they get here, they sign up because it's background work and you can get on a set and you get in studios and then you kind of get to know your way around town a little bit too. But she was working as a casting director there, and I was talking to her. I said, is there real? Because when I first came out, somebody said there were 500,000 actors out here. And I was like, holy crap, are you kidding me? There's that many actors out here? And she says, yeah, but there's only 5,000 that are really going for it. So you see, that's where I'm getting my percentage from that. That might even be less than 10%. You might be right on the 99 there. I have to do the math on it, Kira. But yeah, you want to be the best, the very best that you can be. The very best that you can be, for sure. Mac, what do you got? Thanks for the good tips, Sandra. I have a book with monologues from different playwrights in the Netherlands. Perfect. I love it. Yeah, now those books are, it's a monologue book that is from established playwrights. That's great. It's not somebody just writing a bunch of different plays that don't come from a play. So once you got a monologue that you really love, then you got to read the play. Because then you're going to do character background based on that whole play. And that's why it's beautiful, because the writer will do most of your work. Well, not most, but will do a lot of your work for you, because it'll be filling in a lot of the gaps, where if you just got somebody who just wrote it, it's not coming from play. So obviously the writer's going to do that. Now, the other caution I will tell you guys is be careful not to do monologues that have been done to death. And I'll go, oh, I've heard that one before. when I used to be an agent, I know that. That's from Women of Manhattan, John Patrick Stanley or whatever, because I just know a lot of plays and stuff because I read, right? Be careful not to do monologues that have just been done a lot and they can fall. There's two schools. I had talked to my director in New York about this. Because he auditioned a lot, and I said, do you like hearing something familiar? Do you like hearing somebody come in and do Maggie from Cat on a Hot Tin Roof? He goes, it depends. If they do it really, really well, I don't mind hearing something familiar fall on my ear, he said. I kind of like doing something where you come in and the person's like, huh? Like the first line out of your mouth is like, what? It pulls their attention, especially if they've been in the room for 4 or 5 hours. And they're listening to monologue after monologue after monologue. You want something out of the gate, that line. Now with monologues, you guys, you know I'm verbatim girl. You have to learn stuff verbatim. You do not paraphrase a script at all. With monologues, you can take a little liberty when you're looking at them. So if the third line is a more interesting line to start with, then start there and cut the rest of it out, or pull it up and start there. So you can cut around with monologues and play around with them a little bit. Don't rewrite. Don't go in there and think you can write a line better than Tennessee Williams, but you can certainly cut and move stuff around. And also to look for monologues, you guys can find chunks. Sometimes you'll find chunks of where your character that you could play is speaking and someone's interjecting. See if you can't figure out a way to cut and pull all that together into a monologue if you like it. But I've got monologue tricks for you too, so come work with me. But so I don't know what, Mac, long story short, sweetie, I don't know what monologues in the Netherlands might have been done to death. So be aware of that. There is a beautiful Christopher Durang monologue, you guys might know it. It talks about him going, a little kid going, talking to a therapist, I think, and why he can't go to plays anymore because he went to see Peter Pan when he was a little kid. If you can find that monologue, it's worth reading because it's hilarious, but it's been done quite a bit, is the only thing. Oh, Mark, you felt calmer with breathing? Yeah, just do that, sweetie, because, these are anxious times we're living in, y'all. I hope y'all will go meditate with me and do my white light meditation and practice that. Vanessa, what do you got? What talent agency in the States can you recommend? Oh, there's so many, sweetheart. You'd have to Google it. Oh, there's so many out here in New York, Atlanta, Minneapolis, Dallas. There's a lot, especially the bigger the market, the more talent, the more agencies there are. The other thing, once you guys find the agency, and if it's a newer agency, Google them. Google the heck out of everybody in this business. Google the heck out of everybody. Okay. But once you find the agency, the one thing you want to make sure you don't see in a Yelp thing with these people is I can't get paid. I couldn't get paid from my agent. I couldn't get him to send me the check. Blah, blah, blah. Run in the opposite direction. Okay. So I don't have an answer for that, honey. There's just so many. There's just so many great talent agencies here. It's research and work. That's part of the business, isn't it? Samuel L. Jackson said, what was it? Our job is to, as freelancers, to get a job, and the fringe benefit is getting to act. You know? So listen, those A-listers are hustling for jobs too, you guys. It's not just us. Okay, Mac. The title is Noem ben ik Allen. Oh. My name is Alan? What does that mean? What does that mean? What do you got, sweetheart? Woogie woogie? Is that how you're saying that? You're so cute. I struggle sometimes to pick an objective. Okay, what I want for a scene, and this gets me super frustrated. Okay. Let me see what else you're saying here, sweetie. The possibilities are endless. What's the best way to figure out what you want? When you have a full play, sometimes it's easier, but just a scene for an audition, it's hard. Well, then you just have to kind of go off your imagination and what you think's going on, right? So if we were talking about the Ned, I got the Ned script right here. If we were talking about what does Ned want throughout this whole script? To come to terms with his mother. I wish to come to terms with my mother. Robert Lewis has a whole way of writing out intentions. He calls intentions, right? So objective, subtext, action, verb, intention, what are you fighting for? What are you doing? All mean the same thing. All mean the same thing. Now, you may hear people use them incorrectly or write them incorrectly when they're talking, but they all mean the same thing. When I kept hearing objective in my younger days of acting and training, I just felt like, It felt foreign to me. It felt clinical. But when Robert Lewis used intention, what did you intend? What do you intend to do? It made so much more sense to me. And he writes it in a formula, I wish to verb, becomes what his intentions are. So the very first class that I teach in the 12-week class is intention. Because Robert Lewis says it's the most important element of the acting craft. The most important element is intention, what you're doing. Because what you're doing will feed you emotionally. Right? So if my intention is I wish to rip your face off, trust me, that's going to feed me emotionally. Right? I'm going to be angry. I'm going to be violent. Violently angry if that's what I'm wishing to do to you. Okay? Sometimes you just have to jump in and just say, this is what I think in these sides. Because we don't have all the information. We don't. So we just have to use our imagination and trust that. Now, the worst thing that you could jump into and make a decision wrongly about is who you're talking to. So if this is a scene and you can't tell if you're talking to your brother or a lover, you're going to want to make sure you ask as soon as you get in the room. Don't ask a lot of questions. Go in there and give them what you got. But if you are totally not sure, it's going to really affect your verb choices and how you word your intention if you're talking to your brother versus if you're talking to a lover, right? But let's say you know who you're talking to and it's pretty easy to figure out. Trust yourself. Trust yourself that you can come up with a verb that's going to be encompass all in what Ned wants to do or what your character wants to do throughout the whole thing. I'm giving you guys too much on intention. You're lucky you're here today because I'm giving it away for free today. Good for you. Okay, I'm not going to tell you any more about intention. Come work with me. But that is part of I think trusting yourself a little bit more. Yes, there's endless possibilities. But if you start getting lost in that, you'll never get the script broken down. You know what I mean? Because then what will happen, you'll start doubting yourself. And then it just gets on and on and on and on and on. And then you can't trust yourself as an artist. You can't trust your imagination. And you start second guessing yourself. And then you go into the audition already at a disadvantage because you're not going in confident. So the confidence, I like this question. The confidence really starts with you just breaking the script down and trusting that you can do it. So the best thing is get those verbs out of you. Get those intentions out of you. And then go back. How can I strengthen them? How can I make them more interesting? Because if you're doing that kind of work, I guarantee you'll beat out 90% of your competition. If you're literally breaking a script down into doing character background work, beats, and intentions, you'll get a call back every time. Almost every, I would say, unless for some reason they go completely against type, but that will get you called back. That kind of work, you guys. So we got to tackle it. Does that make sense, Bougie? And I do sometimes struggle with my verb choices too. I've been working since 1990 on it, on intentions. I've been teaching it for that long. So sometimes we'll be breaking and playing the intention game. We play a lot of games in my classes because I like having fun. And I'll sometimes have to think because what you're doing when you're doing intention, you're giving your tone of voice a verb. Ooh, think about that. Come work with me. Okay, let me keep going. What do you got here, big guy? Or girl? Arik. Arik, maybe. Which casting director workshops would you recommend? A list. Favorite CDs. Oh, casting director workshop. I love casting director workshops, you guys. I have a whole way of infiltrating and using casting director workshops to your advantage. How I have a script at Warner Brothers and Paramount and these studios, how I've infiltrated as a writer, I teach you guys in my class. So I teach you how to really prepare for these casting director workshops and how to infiltrate. Because these casting director workshops, you guys, are really great because you get in to meet some people that you might not be able to get in to meet otherwise. Some big casting people. So for $35-40, it's really great. But I have a whole, boy, I don't know what you say, technique, I guess, on how to really be smart about these casting director workshops too. Does that intrigue you to come work with me, my friends? That's all I can say about it, baby. Go to them, though. You know, make sure these casting directors, though, are casting shows you'd be cast in, right? So make sure you know what they cast, and would they hire your type, right? So no, I mean, if I'm going to go to ABC Disney, not ABC, but Disney Channel, I'd want to study that. I'd want to know the casting people, but I want to study that network because that's generally for younger people. So then I'd probably be playing a mom, a grandparent. What would I be playing? A teacher, a nurse, you know? And then we have to shape ourselves for that particular style of a show. Oh, there's so much I could teach you, my kids. Come work with me. So, baby, I don't have a list of casting director workshops. I wish I did, but I don't. But research for those. And again, make sure that they hire your type. Cassie, what do you got? For a monologue, is a self-written original okay to use or something that is more recognized? Depends. Boy, back in my day, they really frowned on you writing your own stuff. Because sometimes they go, well, who wrote that? And maybe you're a really great writer. And all of a sudden you say, I wrote it, and they go, oh. You know, especially stage. Because we are very prissy when we come from stage. You know, I was New York trained. So you would really want, if you're going to do for a stage audition, you really would want to go from a playwright, a known playwright, if you can. And if you're a great writer, I go on and do it. Because out here in Los Angeles, everybody kind of does everything, right? We have to. And I'm sure you are maybe in the markets that you're in. You're doing everything that you possibly can. And maybe Cassie, maybe you're here in LA. I don't know. And if you're writing it and it's really good out here, they may say, oh wow, they may think it's even better that you can act and write. They might really like that because you know out here they don't respect the writer as much. You know, as they do in New York and probably London and places that are known for theater and known for writing. But sure, if it's a great monologue, go ahead and do it. It just depends on where you're doing it. Sometimes people would bring them into monologue classes that I'd have like their own writing and it would be good. And then I say, if you get in this bind, just say, you know, have a pseudonym. You know, instead of Sandra Horner, it was Cassie Jones. I'll use your name. No, you know, y'all just have a different name. So-and-so wrote it so that they can think, oh, well, that's unknown. I've never heard it. Oh, they're original. It's original monologue from, you know. So, you know, you can play around with it however you want, but just depends on who you're auditioning for. You know, who's called you in, what you're doing. Okay. Hey, Ronnie. Hey, Gift. I know I say your name wrong, sweetheart. Thanks for the advice. What monologue? You're welcome. What monologues would you recommend for a demo? I'm 17-year-old teenage girl. Oh, hey, girl. Well, a monologue for a demo for 17. 17. Oh, I would probably look at Laura from the Glass Menagerie. The Glass Menagerie's Tennessee Williams play. Laura, that's for drama. And then you just might want to I mean, you're really good at 17. I'm sure you look even younger than that. So you might even want to look at Disney. Look at Disney. See if you can find any type of monologues from any type of Disney show, Disney movies. You know, maybe TV shows that you watch. Watch them. Sometimes I watch TV shows, especially back when I was acting. If I really liked a monologue, I would record it, and then I would, stop it and pause it, stop it and pause it, and write down the whole monologue for myself. So you can find monologues that way, guys. Mark, what do you got? What book should I read after Advice to the Players? Any of those books any of those guys from the Method Tree. Any of those are wonderful, and I know there's even more than that as far as that's concerned. Okay. Oh, gosh, we're almost up to our hour, you all. How difficult is it for a European actor to come to America for acting? Who's asking me that? Franklin. Oh, Lord, honey, it's hard everywhere, isn't it? I do think we got a better deal going on over here because at least we have unions. I know you guys got some difficulties with trying to get your wages up and doing stuff a little bit more there in Europe. So I wish you guys could unionize over there. It's hard. Yeah. I mean, because then you got to get a work visa. You got to there's so many things you have to do to work here in the States. The thing that I think I always encourage actors to work in the market that you're in. Really work there and build your resume and reach out to the UK, reach out to America, research your own market or markets close to you. What studios are there? What networks are there? Who's casting commercials in the market that you're in? What more can you be doing for the market that you're in? Because nobody's flying anywhere hardly right now, are they? Yeah, so it's even difficult to even start to audition in your own market versus thinking about coming here. So there's just so many obstacles to jump through, baby. But if you want to be here, you could have an advantage of being a European actor because then you'd have your own slot there coming directly from that country too. So that can make you more marketable. But don't think it's any easier here. Because there's more competition, there's more people acting in these larger markets, you know what I mean? And I know you guys want to come to the States. I understand that. I want to come to Europe. We'll just change places, right? Mark, what do you got? We might do the Ruby and Orlando script. Me, shut up and take my money. That's in the master class, though. You got to work hard to get there. I know you will, Mark. I'm looking forward to it. Hi, Jeffrey. Thanks for watching. Sophia, what do you got? Do you happen to know the equivalent of SAG after? Yeah, in Canada, would it be? Yeah. ACTRA. Yeah, that's your union in Canada. I didn't know you were in Canada, Sophia. Sophia, yeah, that's your union. They got it going well there. Oh, you're new to all of it. You have good ideas, sweetheart. You got some talent for it, so keep at it. Oh, you got Michael Caine on acting. That's a really good book, you guys. Michael Caine on acting you can actually get his class on YouTube free for 40. It's a 45-minute class all about film acting. It's really good. The Actor's Thesaurus. That sounds pretty cool. Mark's got some books listed there, guys. He's been reading. Why don't you check out what he's been reading? How do you most effectively read acting books? With a cup of tea? So what is it, we're going to keep you awake, Take notes. I like highlighting stuff in books, right? The Actor Prepares. Is that the other Stanislavski one, Joel? Is The Actor Prepares? My bangs are driving me crazy today. Teresa. The Actor Prepares. Okay, that's the other Stanislavski, right? Building the character in The Actor Prepares, guys, is the other Stanislavski. How do you work with me? Oh, how do I work? Skype and Zoom, both places. So I'm online. I've been online teaching for, I don't know. I've been using Skype since the early 2000s, but all my classes have been online for a while now. So I kind of know what I'm doing. With it. So I'd love to have you come, Lizette. It'd be great to work with you. Okay, Mark, I'm going to read a couple more and then I got to go, you guys. I'm so sorry. I really want to take Lee Strasberg's notes and Strasberg's method as taught by Lori Hall. Then go do it. Go work. Paul, thanks for coming. My two Pauls. Thank you. Sandra, hi, honey. Thanks for coming back. Thank you. You are welcome. In the UK, our is objective, as if, and stakes. That intention makes sense. Thank you. Oh, you're welcome. I know. Oh, you have what else? As if. As if is different. As if is transference, substitution. That's a completely different thing, baby girl. Come work with me and I'll talk to you difference about as if. Yeah, what's your stakes? The stakes that's in it? I agree with that. Oh gosh, Mark, that's such a good. Now I see all your questions, but I'm going to have to let you guys go. What time is it? Oh gosh, I do. Yeah, when you start talking about emotional recall, Mark, when we work together, I'm going to teach you different ways. I'm going to teach you old school emotional recall. I'm going to teach you a quicker way to do it through based in Michael Chekhov's movement. Michael Chekhov says that every cell of your body remembers every emotion you've ever had. I love that. I love that. So I can teach you a quicker way to get to your emotions than just emotional recall and trying to recall things from the past, which can be tricky depending on the day. Because sometimes we've dealt with stuff in the past and they don't affect us now, right? Oh, Teresa came in with Canada. In Canada, the unions and the equity union there for stage and theater. Thank you, Teresa. I like that. You're welcome, Joel. Thanks for coming. You're planning to move to England, Karen. Good luck. Break legs. Yay. Michael loves Michael Caine. I do too. I think he's a fantastic actor. Masterclass is invitation. Once you get through my 12-week class and the intermediate class, then you get to come into the master class, which is where we work and we do the VA shows, we do web series, and we just keep working our craft. We do a little writing. We create television content. That pilot that I have at the Warner Brothers and Paramount came out of actually the stuff we did in the master class, so it's a lot of fun. Carla, you're so welcome. Thank you, honey, for coming back today. Hola. Oh, thanks for my email address, Teresa. I love it. Thank you guys so much for coming. I want you to stay encouraged. I need a bang cut. I want you to stay encouraged, okay, through this time. And I want you to stay safe, okay? Keep working, keep practicing, keep reading. Remember to email me, okay? If you guys want the script for next week, I gotta pick it. I gotta choose the script for next week. Email me for it, Sandra at SKHperformancestudio.com. It's Sandra at SKH, my initials, SKHperformancestudio.com. So my studio is called the Performance Studio International. Okay, guys. I'm going to let you all go. I love you. Stay around positive people. Okay? And come work with me. I'd love to teach you. I'd love to teach you all the stuff that I teach everybody. Again, follow me on Facebook, Sandra K. Horner. I'd love to have you as part of that in there. You're so welcome for the advice. He's furious notes. That's great. Good. You're looking forward for the script analysis next week? Okay. All right, Karen, you got it. All right, guys. Thank you. Thanks again for coming. And I'll be emailing you the new scripts shortly. Okay? Thanks for tuning in. Mwah. I'll see you next Tuesday, 1 o'clock, right here. Talent Managers for Actors. Thanks.